Welcome to Let's Just Be Real with me, your host, Marissa Tong. I'm a multi-passionate creative entrepreneur who's on a journey to create my dream life in a world where adulting just gets too real sometimes. On this podcast, we talk about all things beyond surface level to leave you feeling inspired to think bigger, unapologetically prioritize your self-care, and discover your true, authentic self. Think of me as your unfiltered but wise auntie who just wants the best for all of us. So grab your journal or maybe a glass of wine and let's get real. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I am your host, Marissa Tong. Thank you for tuning into another episode this week. I hope you are doing well, taking care of yourself, feeling good, getting through this eclipse season because it's been, kind of crazy. But I know everybody's definitely dealing with it differently. Like some people are pretty tired. I definitely have been feeling more tired, but at the same time, more energized and like more creative. It's weird to describe, but like definitely more motivated, more inspired, more willing to just like hop on top of like creative ideas and things like that and things that I'm trying to push forward and move forward. So I've been feeling good in that way, but also like tired, a little impatient, a little bit aggravated, a little bit also like Mars in Cancer. So Mars doesn't like to be in Cancer. Like that's not a great place. So, people might be having a little road rage, acting a little crazy or whatever. But I hope y'all are being safe out here, because it's crazy in these streets. But anyway, this is going to be a very short intro to our conversation with our guest. And I wanted to give a disclaimer that this episode is actually from 2025. I don't know what month exactly. I want to say November. Yeah. I was looking at my nails. My nails were green. So this was definitely around my birthday. And yeah, so episode is about a year old or whatever, but it aged well. Okay, it aged well. I'm sitting down with my girl Aspen Cierra, and she is a content creator, a travel creator. She's a travel enthusiast. She is a beautiful Leo. Yesterday was actually her birthday, so this is kind of like her birthday episode. She's gonna be so happy when she sees that this was finally put out. But I think the timing is actually perfect because if you guys know, I'm hosting a retreat in Thailand next April, and I'm going to be co-hosting with my girl Gabrielle Harkins, and Aspen is going to be our official photographer. So she's going to be coming on the retreat to take some beautiful pictures of us, like content, amazing. Like I'm so excited. I've always wanted a photographer on one of my retreats. So this is just like the perfect collaboration. She also knows Gabrielle from Gabrielle's social club in San Diego. So everything is just working out like perfect timing, perfect collaborations. And when you listen to this conversation, you're going to hear us actually talk about Thailand and kind of manifest it. It's crazy. Like I asked her, if she had been to Thailand. She was like, no, like I definitely, want to go to Thailand. That's on my list. And she was talking about manifesting the trip. And it's just crazy how it worked out. So we're going to Thailand. I hope you're going to Thailand because registration is officially open and we have just a couple of spots left for the early bird price. So once those early bird spots fill up, it does go back up to that regular price. So if you're thinking about coming, honey, let's get on it, okay? Anyway, y'all, I hope that y'all enjoy this conversation. We talk so much about traveling as a Black woman specifically, moving outside of the country, what's safe, what's not safe, how to move around, solo traveling. Like we talk about so much. So I hope that y'all enjoy this episode, get something from it, and yeah, enjoy. Hey Aspen, welcome to the show.
Hello,
How are you?
hello. I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm ready for the new year. I'm ready to get out of 2025.
Aren't we all?
But I'm excited for travel. I'm excited to get into this chat with you today. I'm excited to dive into just some places that you've been, what you have coming up for 2026, the creator space that you're getting into, and all of that. So, can you start by just letting the people know a little bit about yourself and how you got into travel?
Sure. Well, as you said, I'm Aspen Cierra. I'm a travel photographer and content creator on these internet spaces. And I'm a former military kid. So for everybody that knows the military kids, we move around a lot. We're always traveling, doing something. And My mom was the main one that was in the army. So she was deployed to a lot of different places, but mostly places you don't really want to bring kids, like, the Middle East back in the early 2000s. She was like, no, we don't keep you stateside. So I never got to go anywhere international. It was mostly, moving to different states. So I feel like now I'm trying to recover or recoup all that international travel that I feel like I was owed as a military kid. So my
Mm-hmm.
friends would be like, "Oh, I lived in like Italy or Japan," and I'm like, "I lived in Alabama or Indiana." Like that's not fun. That's not that's not as exciting as, oh, I get to, have sushi for lunch every day as a kid or learning Japanese. So I feel like I'm recouping all that, wanderlust travel now in like my 30s.
Yes. And I feel like the 30s is a good time to really like reclaim that for yourself because you probably got a little bit more money, like versus
Yes.
your 20s. And
More disposable income, less backpackery vibes.
exactly, exactly. And more of an idea of like the settings, the vibes that you're looking for. So let's dive into kind of like how did you start, I guess, creating content? Like, what made you want to start creating content specifically for travel? Like, because there's people who just like to travel, and there's people who want to create content for travel. So, how did you get into the content creation space?
I think it was at the same time I started to kind of pivot. Well, my main creative outlet is photography. I went to art school for it. I've been a professional photographer, freelancing, in-house for companies since I don't want to say, I guess almost 10 years at this point, at least professionally since like 2016. And so I wanted to get more into travel photography in the past few years. So I started kind of venturing into that and I started following a lot of people that were already doing travel content creation, people that were, whether it was, for brands or just them creating content about them traveling. And I think what really started it was the pandemic. And I was researching about traveling, moving to different countries, and seeing a lot of people talk about digital nomad visas and people sharing content about them traveling on these digital nomad visas, working remotely, all these different things. And I'm like, that could be something I could do. So that's still on the forefront of my mind of things to do. But as I started traveling, what was it, 2021? I think 2021 was when I took my first international trip to Belize, which is where my mom's side of the family is from. And so I was like, oh, this is why people are always traveling. It was just nice to see what other places look like, seeing something that was outside of America, seeing just a different way of life. And I immediately travel bug was gotten. So the next year, I went to Belize again. Then 2023, I went to Japan. And so that was my first and so far only country in Asia, but not for long. Hopefully next year I'll be in Asia, knock on wood. But 2023, I went to Asia and I was like, oh, it's different over here. Like, y'all actually have like a working society with like trains, you know, 7-Eleven, conveniences. It was just amazing, world shattering. And I feel like Japan is people's like first major trip now. I feel like there's always that joke that like you're either running a marathon or you're on a trip to Japan or something. Like that's like the millennial midlife crisis trip. And so a lot of people were posting about that. And so that's when I really started, I think, posting about my travels was like 2023. And so I've been to 11 countries as of November. I went to Brazil. So far it's been good.
I love that. Yeah, I agree. I think around the pandemic was when people definitely started feeling like there has to be more than just,
Gotta be.
going to work, living in this country. We're talking about
Ooh.
America, by the way, living in this country.
Listen, I mean, who else says it with such disdain besides America?
Exactly,
I mean, there
exactly.
might be a couple, but I mean, as of right now, it's America.
Yeah, it's definitely America, the ghetto. But
Ooh,
yeah, I feel
child, I
like
got to.
2020, 2021, and I think too, like it didn't help that people were locked in the house and people were just like, okay,
Facts.
like I need to be doing something. I need to see something. Like if the world's gonna end, let me get on a plane right now. I had taken my
Definitely
first
YOLO vibe.
Yeah, exactly. I had taken my first solo trip in 2021 and then like you said, the travel bug, it just starts, after that you're like, okay, you get a little confidence about traveling and you're like, okay, I did that. What's next? What can I
Exactly.
do? How was Brazil? You recently went to Brazil. Can you tell us about
Oh,
that?
it was amazing. I'm already. trying to figure out how to go back. Like Brazil is one of those places you just it's like the energy of the people, the place. Like I don't know what it is, but as soon as you touch down, you're like interacting with locals, just wherever it's the energy is unmatched. That sun is also unmatched on the beach. I definitely got a little sunburn, y'all. Wear your sunscreen, please. That sun is different. It's a different type of breed out there. But Brazil, like the food, the people, the energy. Make sure if you go to Brazil, you do their drink. I think it's the caipirinhas, or I think that's what it's called. They will sell you so many of those on the beach. Everywhere you go, you have one. They have passion fruit, mango, all kind of different fruits. Like that is like the drink of choice, and you just have to have it.
What area of Brazil were you in? Were you in Rio de Janeiro?
Yeah, I was in Rio.
Nice, nice. And that's considered like the city?
Yeah, so that's one of the if that's the capital. Listen, American geography
Maybe.
lessons.
Right.
Listen, don't blame me, blame the American school system. But so Rio de Janeiro is one of the big major cities. I think Sao Paulo might be the capital. Don't quote me on that.
Mhm.
So like Rio, Sao Paulo, Salvador Bahia, like I'd probably say some of the three main big cities that people go to, but one of the big airports is in Rio.
Yeah. And how was the food? I always need to ask about the
Oh,
food.
amazing. Everything so good. Everything's like fresh. Every time I travel, I love trying like the local cuisine or just like whatever the local produce is. So for even breakfast at the hotel, they're having the local fresh fruits, different breads, different meats, just how they prepare things, and it's just so good.
What was your favorite experience? Like, did you do any excursion, any tours, anything like that when you were out there?
Ooh, the main tour that I did, it was with a Black Brazilian actually. She did a tour of Little Africa, which is like this area where they show you some different Black history throughout Rio. Because a lot of people don't realize like Rio, even just Brazil in general, that's where the largest amount of slaves were dropped off during like the Atlantic slave trade, like even more than the US. So there's so many Black Brazilians. That's one of the things I loved when I was there, is seeing anybody could be Brazilian. Like the color, it just ranged the gambit. Like from like the darkest of dark to the lightest of light could be Brazilian. So many people were trying to speak Portuguese to me, and I'm like, I am so sorry, y'all. You know, I know like three words, but I got you. I got you with this Google Translate.
I got you next time when I come back. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
better.
right. Let me learn three. I was literally at the airport before my flight, like, let me look up some words because I don't know nothing.
Right. I love that. Yeah, Brazil is definitely one place on my list. I want to get into a little bit, talking about I love that you brought up Black people being in Brazil, right? The majority or even having like that melting pot and that mixture of different people. I think that a lot of Black people here in America, they might have like a fear when traveling outside of the country, of not knowing like, okay, is this a place where I could find my people? Is this a place where other Black people go? Is this safe for me to go to? Out of all the places that you've been to, what would you say your experience has been as a Black woman? Like, have you felt safe in the majority of the places that you've been to? Have there been any particular places where you're like, this might not be for us, but
I feel like everywhere that I've traveled so far has been pretty safe for just me as like a woman or even just like a Black person. I feel like the only place that might have been a little on the sketchier side could probably be Medellin. I still felt pretty safe there, but it's just one of those places like, it's like a major city, there's, pickpocketers, whatever. It's just kind of, knowing your surroundings, like using some of the same rules you use like if you were to go visit a New York or a San Francisco or something, like just, being aware of things, knowing where you should go. Like I know they told me to like take Ubers and stuff instead of maybe like walking at night as a woman. So it's like certain things. But I feel like that's probably the most danger I've had while traveling versus like when I went to Iceland and Japan where I could walk at night, there's no issue. Like it was probably perfect there, I'd say.
when you were in Japan, did you see a lot of Black people?
That no. I actually went with a black tour group, and so people there were so many people staring at it. Like the funny thing with the Japanese people is that they are very like polite, so they're not gonna like ogle you like in some places, but you can kind of see them out of the corner of their eye being like, this is a large group of black people. What y'all doing here? Especially because it was like 10 or 15 of us in a group. Like I think we ended up on the news or something because we were walking by and somebody was like doing a newscast, and so they were asking our tour guide about like, oh, what are all these, black tourists doing here? So, we're telling them, oh, we're from the US or Canada. I think it was like the US and Canadian group. Because when a lot of places, they still don't really realize that black people aren't just in Africa or maybe even the Caribbean. Like you think of white people when they think of the UK or Australia or the US. So it's like kind of an education for people almost when we're traveling out.
It's so true. I had saw someone posted on Thread something about like people don't realize that black people actually like live in America. I think there's like this stereotype. I don't know exactly which countries, but there's kind of like a stereotype of like, okay, black culture is like mainstream, like the music, the culture, but then like they forget that black people are actually part of America. They just think of like
Yeah.
Trump, conservatives, MAGA, like if you're outside. So that was interesting to see that tweet because I'm like, yeah, like we're here, like, and we're not just African, it's a mix of different black people within America.
Right. And especially because I think they don't realize how long, like, a lot of people don't think of Black Americans as an ethnic group. They think like, oh, everybody, because like if you're in Australia or a UK or a Canada, a lot of the Black people that are there are, maybe first, maybe second generation, or, they just immigrated there. But people don't realize when the slave ships stopped, they stopped pretty early in America. So we've been here, four, five, six generations since, 1600s or whatever. So most of us when you're traveling, they'll ask you like, "Oh, where are you from?" And then, if I say the U.S., they're like, "Okay, but like, where are your parents from? Where are they? Where are they from?" So it's
That's
very interesting. But then in my case, it's like I do have like a Caribbean parent. So like on one side, it's like okay, they're fresher to the U.S., but on my Black American side, they've been here multiple generations.
that's so true. What would you tell, okay, let's say there's a black woman and she's trying to get out, right? She's trying to travel, she's trying to start her little travel bag.
Trying to be
And
outside.
yes, she's trying to be outside. And she's like, I don't know. Like, I don't have people to travel with. Like, I'm afraid I've never taken a solo trip. And I don't really have friends that, have the means to travel or they're just not able to. What would you tell them? Like, where should they start? Should they be looking for specific travel groups? Should they be seeking out, content creators who are giving that type of information?
Oh, I think for me, like for Japan, I specifically sought out a group trip because it was the first place I went where I didn't speak the language. So I thought it would be nice to at least have somebody that could help me kind of navigate around, especially in a place where like Google Translate may not be as easy to figure things out. Like now you can do like the Japanese kanji and like take a picture and it'll figure it out. But it does take a little bit of kind of figuring and maneuvering in, an Asian country versus like if you're in a Europe where there's probably going to be a lot more English readily available and spoken. So I definitely recommend like figuring out like a group trip because it's a good way to make other friends. So that way, if you don't necessarily want to travel by yourself, then you can, pick one or two people that you've been on that trip that you like and then, plan your own trips.
How do you typically find the groups? Do you find them through like Instagram, threads? How are you finding those?
Yeah, usually social media. 'Cause
Hmm.
the group trip that I went, I found out through like an old high school classmate of mine that was working with the company as like the tour guide. So I kind of had that proof of concept and trust, like, oh, she knows what she's doing to like align herself with this one. 'Cause, not all group trips are made equal. Like I'm sure we've all seen the horror stories on the TL of like what went down in, Cabo or whatever for some of these different companies because it feels like everybody has a travel agency or a group trip or something. So definitely like do your research, look at reviews, ask other people, and then that'll help you kind of figure it out.
Hmm. And yeah, being someone who's on the other side of that, like I plan retreats, and I could say out of the retreats I've planned, like they have gone 95% well, but I think sometimes like, it depends on the type of
That other
people.
5%.
Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be like that 5%, people who are coming and maybe like their intentions are not the same as everybody on the trip, or their
Mm.
expectations might not be aligned with like what the group or the planner, had planned for you guys. So I would say when it comes to that, like I personally haven't sought out a group travel company or anything like that, but I would definitely love to do that. But I think being the planner, sometimes it is a little bit hard to gauge like who's coming, what type of energies, like are people going to get along, are people going to mix? Have you had any experiences of like not meshing well or seeing people like have the weird experiences or bringing like weird energy?
I feel like maybe once or twice, but usually I'm one of those people that kind of like gets along with everybody. So, and that kind of like peep energy. So I'm like, if you kind of like doing your thing in a bad mood over there, I'm just gonna go, be cool with the other people. Like, I'm not
Over
gonna
there.
let one person bring down like the whole group if they got an attitude or something. Cause like you can't please everybody. But one thing with that is hard with group trips is trying to figure out like the vibe. So even if you're trying to figure out like how to make your own group trip with your friends, like know what type of people you're trying to bring, know, the type of vibes they're on. If they don't do certain things at home, like they may not all of a sudden want to do these type. If they're not an adventurous type of person, like don't try to bring them on this adventurous type trip. If you know your friend just wants to sit at the hotel and like be at a resort and chill, like make sure you bring them on that type of trip or invite them on the next trip. Like just like making sure you align the right vibe so that way you're not the friend on the Miami trip and now y'all not friends no more. Because
Right.
I never understood that. I was like, when me and my friends went to Miami, we had a good time. So I'm like, what's going on with everybody having, Miami friend problems? Like, is it Miami?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Is it Miami?
Right. I'm wondering.
I think it's this. I think a couple things. Like people tend to act different like if they're not well traveled and like they go somewhere and maybe
Mm,
like they're trying to act brand new or when like
yeah,
substances, alcohol's involved,
that
people
is
start
true.
getting a little liquid courage and just
Hmm.
start acting different, or it could be, you're friends with someone and maybe you've already had like some type of resentment or issues building up before the trip and then it tends to just come
Mm,
out during the trip. So
every
yeah.
time.
But yeah, we try to stay away from I'm very picky. Like I would very much rather go on a solo trip than travel with people where I'm like, I don't know. Like, do I want to share a room with you? I don't know.
Right.
What places are on your travel bucket list for 2026?
Ooh, so next year I'm speaking into existence that I want it to be my Asia year since we're on the West Coast. I'm trying to get these flight deals, so I really want to go kind of travel around Southeast Asia. So, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Malaysia, Cambodia, like that sort of thing. I do want to circle back to Japan because I feel like when I did my group trip, I didn't spend as much time in some places that I wanted to. So I want to kind of go back and go to Kyoto and Osaka and then maybe try to go don't remember if it's up or down the direction of like Okinawa. I feel like on my trip, I spent a lot of time in Tokyo, and Tokyo is like such a big city. But after like 7 days in Tokyo, you're like, okay, like collective 7 days, I've done what I wanted to do in Tokyo. I'm trying to see a little bit more, explore, branch out a little, and I want to try to hit up South Korea too, because I'm a Korean skincare girly, so I need to go shopping.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me about the 7-Eleven in Japan? We had talked about that when we met up, like over the summer,
Yes.
but yeah, tell
Oh
the
my God.
people, put them
Like
on.
y'all. So whatever you know about 7-Eleven in the US, scratch it. Like it does not like that does not even compare. 7-Eleven is just it's just a wonderland of all the things you can get any and everything at the 7-Eleven. Like you can get hot ramen noodles there. You can get different smoothies and things there. They have like bakeries in the back. Like you could sit down and have like a cute little date in the 7-Eleven. And honestly, 7-Eleven ain't even the best convenience store in Japan. My favorite is probably Lawson's and then Family Mart and then 7-Eleven at the bottom. Like when I tell
Mm.
y'all, amazing. You get all the treats that you want. You can get your wine, your liquor, all your things. Just elite.
And is it packed like when you go in? Are there a lot of people in there?
I feel like it depends what time you go, but they're like always open. So if you want like a late night something, and they're everywhere. It's like, if you're from the South and it's like a Waffle House on every corner, like that's how 7-Eleven, Lawson's, Family Mart, and they're always like kind of right across from each other, like cat a corner. So you can always find something. Like honestly, I feel like I ate more there than like at actual restaurants and stuff.
And the prices, like prices were good. Prices are,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
like
very,
it's
very cheap. So if you're on a budget in Japan, because the flights are not cheap, hotels. Like you could honestly just eat at the 7-Eleven or the Lawson's and you'd be fine.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that. I love that. Have you been to Thailand or is that on your bucket list as well?
That's on my list. Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, all that around there. So,
Mm-hmm.
manifesting.
Yes, yes. What about Hawaii? We're super close to Hawaii. Would you go? Like,
Yeah, I want to go back. I went back. So, fun fact, I'm actually born in Hawaii, military brat. We were stationed there.
oh
So, I
my
was
God.
born there. And then, what was it, 2022? 2022, I went back for the first time since I was born. And so I got to like go on the base where I was born because I was born in the military hospital. It's like this cute little pink hospital. So I went and like took pictures in front of it and was like, wow, 20 something years ago today, I was born here. So cute.
Oh, that's cute. What
Yeah,
part of
but I definitely
Hawaii?
want to go back. Oh, I was born in Honolulu.
Honolulu. I love
Mhm.
that. Is that more, that's not Big Island, is it?
No, it's Oahu.
Okay, okay. Yeah. What's the vibe of Honolulu? Is it more like surfers, chill? Is it more touristy?
I think it depends where you go. Like most people are gonna go like Waikiki Beach and like go be along like little resort strip, and then there's like North Shore. You can go up there, but like as you go further inland, then it's gonna be a little more local. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely along like those coasts, it's gonna be pretty touristy when you're in, like those shopping areas. So I feel like that's good for like your first time going to kind of like hit all the things, get it out the way. But after that, then do some more exploring. So I definitely want to go back and do some more exploring, like inland, and then kind of island hop, like go to Maui or like Hawaii, stuff like that.
Yes. Are there any places that you would not go? Like any places that it's on your list? Like, I don't know, seems a little dangerous, seems a little
Uh,
sketch.
well, I mean, definitely probably not a Russia or North Korea. Probably, I think that some people have been like, I guess technically to North Korea because like when you go to South Korea, you go to like the demilitarized zone and you can like step your foot over the line and be like, I'm in North Korea, but like nobody's really been in like North Korea for real. Like I don't really have any desire for that because there's always some tourist that does something dumb at the like demilitarized zone and then they end up getting arrested. And I'm like, you know what, y'all got it because they're not gonna take me away. You never see me again. Like I'm good. I'm good. America already
Exactly.
scary enough. They already snatching us up. So like I don't need to be snatched up somewhere else.
Exactly. Ooh,
I'm good. I'm good.
no, honestly, honestly. Can we pivot a little bit into moving outside of the country? Because we all
Oh,
know, we
my
see what's
favorite
happening.
topic.
Yes, we see what's happening here. If you guys are listening outside of the country, you know the vibes. Just turn on the news, okay? But
I mean, they honestly know more than we do because our news is all censored. They're over there calling us like, "Hey, y'all good?" Like the writing on the wall, and we're like, "La la la, TikTok is censored." La la la.
it's so true. No, that is so true. I feel like I see more and more Black women specifically moving out the country. I started following this group. It's called Exodus. So they help women, like set up
Yes,
their
Exodus
lives.
Summit. They
Mm-hmm.
are also one of the reasons I really got heavily into wanting to travel and like move abroad. Because when I was on YouTube, just like researching like Black people in different countries, like a lot of their videos would come up with people, especially Black women and even older Black women that were like traveling, moving abroad. So I definitely will credit them for me getting more interested in like traveling and even the thought of moving abroad.
Mm-hmm, hmm. Yeah, I've seen you talk about it a little bit on Threads, like having a timeline of a few years. Like, what does that look like for
Mhm.
you? And are you already starting to like plan that out, or are you kind of just like feeling out, the right time to go and when you're ready?
Well, my goal that I keep saying, I'm like, well, if I keep saying it's going to happen, it's 2030. So I'm giving myself till 2030 to hopefully, have my money together, either have remote work or for my photography and content creation business to be able to sustain me full time and be able to travel and live, location independent. So I'd say that would be my goal. But I mean, if it happens a little earlier, I am not mad. But I mean, we don't know if we're gonna get another term. This might be the last time we get to vote. So I want to make sure I got my ducks in a row. Like yesterday, so I'm a dual citizen of Belize. Come on my mom's side, she's Belizean. So last year I got my citizenship through descent. So I got all that paperwork done. And then yesterday I just did my passport. So did my passport application at the Belize embassy here in LA. And so that's on the way. So that way, I have my dual citizenship stuff on lock. So that way if I need to, jump ship somewhere, I at least have somewhere to, land for a little bit while I figure things out. Because the visa
Mm-hmm.
process for other places, especially as more and more Americans are trying to go, like they want the people with the money. So all these digital nomad visas, like if you have a remote job, they want you to be those high paying tech workers, which I think is what kind of came out of the pandemic. They're more so catering to them. So if you're not, a rich six-figure person, you gotta do a little bit more research. But there are options out there, and there every day there's like more countries kind of tweaking some of their things. Countries you may not have thought of, like in Estonia or a Croatia or something, are going to be more welcoming to Americans and other people that want to kind of get out. Like they're trying to poach all the talent. So if you got like some good skills, like definitely look into it.
Yeah, I think over the summer, like a few of the smaller Caribbean islands, like Dominica,
Yes.
that's where my dad's from, a few of those
Mm.
islands, they started opening up their citizenship and, trying to make it a little bit easier for us to come over there because,
Oh yeah, Dominica was one I was looking into because for I think it's Belize, Dominica, Barbados, and St. Vincent, they have like that new pact where like if you're citizens of any of those countries, you can now like live and work in those countries without needing like an extended visa or something. So that's also some options for me. So your girl gonna be on the beach living my best Rihanna life.
yeah, yes.
I mean, better to hear.
Yes, yes. And also like I like to emphasize to people who are like on the fence about moving outside the country, like it is so much more affordable. Like you would not believe.
We're being so price gouged.
It's crazy. And we're seeing now like in the States, like rent is highly unreasonable. Like it's ridiculous. Like the math ain't
Don't get me
mathing.
started.
It's
It's
not
it's
mathing.
not.
It's definitely not mapping. Like the wages, the cost of living itself, the food, and then you go to other countries and you see like the quality of the food with the pricing is like it doesn't make sense when we're here eating, processed food and getting
Exactly.
charged.
Just like the quality of life. Like every time I step off a plane and go to a new place, I'm just like, just that like feeling of relief. Like the food, stomach is already better. I don't got no issues. Like I feel like my skin is clearer. Just like mental is better. And then as soon as I step back in the airport and I land and I see that U.S. administration, I'm like, bugged here, crying. Like, ooh, the ghetto.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Anything else that you want to tell the people about like your experiencing traveling? Anything that you want to put out into the universe? I know we already talked about some things like moving by 2030, your
Mhm.
travel bucket list. Anything else that you want to put out there or let people know who might want to start taking that leap and start, catching flights?
I think it's just like start small and don't think you have to, travel to the farthest place or like spend the most money. Since we're here in San Diego, a lot of people go to Mexico. You can go to Mexico or like you can go to Canada. I think I actually went to Canada for which tour was it? For the Renaissance tour. I went to Canada. So I feel like a lot of people for like, Beyonce tour or like think it was like Taylor Swift's tour, so many just women were traveling to other places for concerts. And I think that's going to be the way for more people to kind of get out and experience more things is to travel for something that you want to do, like a sporting event or a concert. So that could be a cool way to test out going to a place for a few days when you already kind of have like something you need to do in there.
And ladies, please don't be afraid to ditch your friends. Okay. Don't be waiting for the
Yes,
vacation. Vacations are great, like yes,
we
that's
love that.
we love that, like goals, but we still have our lives to live. And we're not sitting here waiting for people to book a flight with us. I think that's one of the reasons that I started doing solo travel because I was always waiting for people to travel with me. And like I would constantly be disappointed by like my friends who like couldn't get time off or they were
Hmm.
flaky or we couldn't agree on like the same places to go. And then one day I was just like, all right, well, I've been wanting to go to Sedona for a long time. So I'm going to go and it was great.
Right. I think it's like realizing that, your friends may not want to do the exact same thing as you, and that's okay. Like one of my best friends, like I love her, but she don't want to travel outside the US. And I'm like, that is okay. I can go off and do these things myself, and then I can go kind of be on my own time. Because finding those people that have that kind of same travel style as you is gonna make or break your trip. Because if you're not a morning person, I'm not a morning person. And you're with someone that wants to be up at 5 a.m. to catch the sunrise and then have a fully packed schedule, like we're just not going to align travel wise. Like I like to kind of leisurely go through my thing pick one or two main things that I can do and leave room for a little whimsy. So if you can't find somebody that's on your same travel wavelength, like, go yourself.
Or if you're with someone on a trip, like don't be afraid to leave. Like I
That.
love like being out, like they wake up and I'm not there because I'm out doing something, like, all right, come meet me here, if you wanna catch these vibes, but don't be afraid to do things on your own. Like I think you build a lot of confidence from being able to go out on your own, experience things, realize that it's not as scary as we might think. And that way, like we start to feel, a little bit more secure in ourselves and our abilities and our capabilities every time we put ourselves out there. So encourage.
Exactly. It's good to help you with like problem solving and just kind of figuring things out on the fly. It kind of helps with your sense of direction. Like if you're not good with, direction, make sure you got those Google Maps downloaded so that way you can figure out where you're going or learn a few words and maybe you could ask a local like, hey, how do I get this way? Maybe old school print it out like MapQuest, like do what you got to do, but it'll help you learn how to be resourceful and you'll feel more empowered to do more things by yourself. But it all starts
Hmm.
at home. Like if you go to an art gallery by yourself, take yourself out to dinner, like start with these small steps so that way you're used to kind of doing things on your own and you don't necessarily feel like you might be missing hanging out with somebody. So that way when you're abroad, you don't feel like, you need to have somebody with you all the time. But it also helps make yourself a little bit more open to meeting and talking to other people when you're out. Because sometimes it can be hard for other people to approach you if you already have kind of your established group of people. But if you're by yourself doing your solo things, you go sit at the bar, you never know who you're gonna meet. And that's how you get those like random, like hangover worthy adventures.
So true. Very true. Are you tired of stressing over meal prep, grocery shopping, and figuring out what to cook every single night? I know I am, child, okay? I am not trying to be slaving over the kitchen stove and worrying about washing dishes every single night. It's too much. Running a business is enough for me, honey. So, allow me to introduce you to Cook Unity, your personal chef at your fingertips. Cook Unity delivers chef crafted meals straight to your door, made with high quality, fresh ingredients. Whether you're craving a hearty pasta, a healthy grain bowl, or something gourmet, there's something for every palate. These recipes are authentic, full of flavor, and created by local chefs who love food just as much as you do. As someone who's always on the go, whether it's teaching fitness classes, choreographing routines, or spending quality time with my friends or my pup, I love how Cook Unity saves me time without sacrificing flavor or nutrition. Plus, I get to try dishes from top chefs that I wouldn't normally have access to. So I can literally switch it up from Chinese to Mexican to Italian to Caribbean. I love it. I love it. I love it. No more takeout guilt, no more boring leftovers, just real delicious meals made just for you. So if you're ready to elevate your weeknight dinners, then head on over to cookunity.com and use my code MARTONG00 to get $60 off your first order. I will put that in the show notes for you so you can get easy access and take you right to the website. Okay, so don't forget, put your order in right now, okay, because they need to know what you're ordering. So even if you don't have the time to put your order in, they will go based off your preferences and your first questionnaire when you go to the website, and you can set up literally like your dietary needs, if you have any allergies, anything like that. So go right now, okay? Cook Unity. This is where convenience meets culinary creativity. Aspen, this was such a good combo. I love talking about travel. I need to make my own
Listen,
bucket list today, like for
listen, we
2026.
need to go on a trip. I'm still waiting. Like, when we
We
going?
do. We were supposed to go to Mexico. Okay, 2026.
We still need to go to Mexico.
Yeah, we do. We do. We're gonna go. We're gonna go. If you guys don't know, Aspen's also in San Diego. She's one of the beautiful women that I've met this year and been able to connect with. So it's been a pleasure, and I'm so excited to, yeah, to explore some places with you as well. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Can you please tell people where they can find you on social media?
Sure. Well, I'm a little dual creative. So if you're interested in travel photography, you can find me at Aspen Cierra Photo. Or if you're interested in, beauty and travel and the intersection of that, you can follow me at Aspen_Cierra.
Yay. And we'll link everything in the show notes so people can follow you, connect with you, feel inspired. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. If you love this episode, make sure you share it with a friend and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. All right. Rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. You can follow us on Instagram, Let's Just Be Real Pod, Wrist Fit Kitty, and we'll link everything in the show notes for you. And if you're interested on coming to one of our Real Hot retreats, info will also be in the show notes. So check us out, and we'll see you guys in another episode. Bye.
Bye.